Happy New Year's, guys! Like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you like my content, make a comment in the thing below and tell me what you think. Anyway, today is going to be a New Year's Day story time. This is something that I kind of want to tell just a little bit of a story and why it can be so much more free to live in a society that is sharing versus a society where you're using where you're just selling a service. That's the object here, just educational and spiritual in nature, and why there's a reason why Jesus said to follow the kingdom first. There's a lot to do with that, but so it's kind of a serious story, but it's not too serious, right? I worked. Some of you know, if you're watching this, you know me. I worked as an electrician for 25 years, and I had pretty much everything that I really wanted. Right, I had a nice house to live in, a wonderful son. Was in an unsuccessful marriage. Got a divorce, but I was fairly happy by myself. I had a place in Idaho to go. Still have a place in Idaho to go. Vacation and at first, for the first couple of years, it was great because it was just a new toy for me and my friends and family to go use for a couple of years. But after a while, and this is true of anything, and I want you guys to think of this. For one thing, if it was a great place to go, but if I didn't have anybody to go share it with, then what was it, right? And of course, the right people, right? If you're trying to share it with somebody that's just totally off the hook and worried about everything, and not at peace with themselves and not in a state of gratitude and love for the people around them. Obviously, sharing things that life with those people kind of you really want to promote healing to the people around you and say, hey, look, there's nothing to worry about. Anyway, I just started to realize that all that stuff, the stuff that you own really starts to own you. That's something that I learned more than anything. Just, getting a lot of material wealth means nothing. It means nothing when it comes to security. Especially, it doesn't mean anything when it comes to the way you feel about other people and your ability to spend time with other people. Because it only is, as successful if you're attracting people onto your property, but then that starts to even grow dysfunctional, right? Because now you're in charge of the possessions that everybody has access to. So that grows dysfunctional, right? Oh, we got to go through this person because they have all the stuff, right? Who wants to be that guy? And so that was kind of what it was running into. And it was just like, but then everybody gets their own stuff. If they get their own vacation spots, now it's harder to spend time with the people that you want to spend time with. And so sharing was always something I was like, hey, look, I got this place over here. You guys ever want to use it? Go use it. And so I had like one or two people take me up on that. And just like, all right, well, we'll just start turning it into an Airbnb. And so I ran it as an Airbnb for a while. But then if it's not yours, people treat it poorly because of the money, right? It's like, I'd let you stay there for free if I didn't have to clean it. If I didn't have to pay, all of that, it twists it and turns everything that you have when you try and create that barrier into dysfunction. Whereas it's just like, hey, everything I have is yours. Treat me as you treat yourself. Life is super easy and simple that way. And that's how we grow together. And so that was my objective ever since I've been working in dysfunctional groups for a long time. And those groups were only dysfunctional because there was controlling entities in those groups that wouldn't listen to each other, right? When you're not following the way a natural organism works, then it's going to grow dysfunctional. So eventually, because of inflation and because of the monetary situation in the world at large, Everyone is going to have to learn this lesson of sharing. It's the first lesson you try and teach your kids, right? And that's why only children have the hardest time sharing, because they get everything. And the best kids are always going to be the kids, not the best kids, but the kids that learned lessons at an earlier age because they had to share with their other kids. And if they didn't have to share enough, then they're usually, have a hard time. They turn a little narcissistic, right? Share everything you have, and you'll always be taken care of. I can guarantee you that, because the people around you will understand that you love them unconditionally. And hey, whatever you need, it's mine is yours. And then if you don't feel that same way, then you're going to go through negative karma. Definitely. If you take from somebody that is that way, you're going to go through some stuff, I guarantee you. So it's better to just be that way. And don't worry about it whether or not people take from you, because they'll learn their lesson down the road. That's not something you'll have to worry about. You'll still be supported, even if you have very little. And so always be grateful, right? So my goal in the new year, and this is something that I've just got done creating a group creator manual that I'm going to post on my website. I'm going to sell it. But I'm going to give it to free to companies and businesses that are interested in trying to move in a direction where it's more co-creative. Because people don't understand, I know this isn't well understood, but you can really open up creativity when everybody has a share in that process. And you will end up making way more and be way more successful when you're open up group creativity. Group creativity is the coup de grace, right? The thing that is going to unlock all the potential in this society. When you have groups that start co-creating, and I mean, there's going to be so many creations that you can create as a group versus just by yourself. I mean, by myself, I can write a book, I can start a YouTube channel, but groups, when you invest enough time into projects as groups and that compounds the amount of resources you have available to you. I mean, you could come up with some stuff that will just blow away anything that we have available to us now. Because all of those groups that are creating the cars, the movies that we see are usually one person's idea, and everybody's working for that person. You're not unlocking the group creativity, and everybody has mutual incentive and mutual accountability for that system. I'd like you guys to think about that for this year, because dreams are just dreams unless you ground them. You must ground the dreams. I mean, I could just dream about this and live in la la land all day long, right? But unless I share my dreams with you all, then where are we? For one thing, think about this. I mean, there are so many benefits you could have by creating huge groups. For one thing, you're going to evolve at a conscious level much, much faster, because you're in service to every part of that organism, especially if you don't have control, if you have to share. Not only, but your shared resources are tremendous, depending on how size of the group. Now your vacation options are giant for free, because the group gets bigger and bigger and bigger, owns more and more property. Right? Another thing, spend time with, I mean, can imagine you could have group, like team vacation parties just wherever you want, twice a year, right? And this is something that I've understood for a long time, is that if you break down all those conflicts and you no longer have to do things in that old hierarchical system, you're probably only working, I would say, a max of like 20 hours a week. But not only that, if it's a voluntary system and you all have mutual incentive and you're all serving each other the way that you want to and need to at the same time, because there's always going to be balance. You're always going to have to do things that you're not going to want to do. And that builds character. That's good for you. And you're always going to get your needs met. Beautiful. I mean, that is relationships in and of itself. Relationships get dysfunctional when you get whatever you want and you never have to provide for the needs of the people around you, right? I mean, you work as many hours as you want or something like that, right? Say, hey, look, this is the minimum number of hours. I worked in dysfunctional groups forever, and usually the number of hours that you work are somewhere between 2 max. I mean, there were days I didn't work anything. You were there for 10 hours and you didn't do nothing because of the way it was structured. Or, you can work as many as like 6 hours a day. But I mean, realistically, when you come to mutual agreements about how you're going to work and everything, it's probably not going to be more than 20, 25 hours a week max, I would say. 30 hours is be pushing it. For one thing, productivity really starts to go down when you work more than 30 hours a week. But isn't that what now you don't have the stress of poverty. The only people that will end up in poverty in that situation are people that haven't learned how to work together. Right? Love you guys. Dreams have to be grounded and based in how things work, or they don't ever grow. So if there's anything that you guys want to add or support this in any way, you can go to circuitbreaker.com, circuitbreaker with a K, CIRKUITBRE. I'm going to post a group creative manual. I'm going to sell it for money, right? But I probably will, if you really want to use it and you can't afford it, I'm only going to sell it for like $20, man, right? It's got to support my business and support a group that was going to provide something to the public for a purpose, right? And so you want to price it so it's available to everybody because you want everybody to be able to work together. And at the same time, it's got to support it initially anyway, right? So love you guys. Have a wonderful year, and we'll catch you later.